Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. I want to introduce you to a really interesting young lady who runs her own business. She's got quite the challenge that she's going to share with us in regards to being a single mom and an entrepreneur and applying for a mortgage and doing an acquisition and all the challenges inherent in that. And we're going to talk a little bit of her business, which is marketing and branding and strategy, etc. But in addition, she was a stand-up comedian a couple of weeks ago for the first time. And what an interesting story about, just a regular businesswoman trying her hand or herself as a stand-up comedian. And we're going to check that out and see what that was all about. So I want to introduce you to Shelley True. Shelley True is the agency founder of an agency called True Design, which provides strategy-first marketing. She combines deep research with impeccable creative execution to help businesses tell what they describe as their most powerful stories. But she believes that their true strength lies in relationships. They bring clients in as real partners in the development of their brands, investing in their success like it's their own. Shelley, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell me, you've described to me what True Design is, and that you market, you say, with moxie, and that you bring an exceptional amount of intellect, passion, creativity, and expertise to every marketing challenge, et cetera, et cetera. But what is it you actually do?
So I started my career working in marketing, but I worked for architects for over 15 years and felt that there was a real void in terms of local companies losing work to firms outside of their city. Sometimes Toronto is looked at as the best place to hire for Ottawa architecture. So I realized that it's basically they were just having a difficult time promoting themselves. And so that was my primary focus, which was architects, but that led into development, real estate, construction, and all of those sectors. But what we do is we basically showcase their best assets and focus on building that communication and story to help position them in their marketplace.
That's kind of a different industry segment for a person to specialize in marketing for, is it not? Architects, developers, etc.
What's great is we provide all forms of marketing, but we have selected a niche, so we're not learning on our clients' dime. They come to us. We get all of our work on referral, but it's based on the knowledge and experience that we have in marketing for them.
I got to ask you, you describe yourself as marketing with moxie. What's moxie?
So moxie is a combination of brawn and passion. We're not afraid of going outside the box. Originally, I am from Quebec, so I always say that I add a little more color. I also talk with my hands, but it's really about, Ottawa and other cities, I say, are a little more conservative, and it's about, making a mark and caring about the landscape of the cities. So it's important for us to kind of go outside the box and appreciate design and showcase the builder's passion for architecture as well.
In 2015, you acquired an award-winning Ottawa-based design studio, Avenue Design. Tell me about what that acquisition was like.
Being a single mom, starting my business on my own in 2012, it was kind of landed on my lap. I basically quit my job, started the company, and I had one contract that would sustain me for a year. So there was no failing, since I'm a single mom, sole supporter of my daughter. She was 5 at the time. So very important, to obviously make a living, but also I was very passionate about what I was focused on doing, which was growing, employing staff. In 2015, I was approached by one of my competitors who were in a very similar space. They had a larger team. They were in business for 10 years longer than I was. And at the time, I didn't think I could even go through getting financing. Having had a crazy situation happen, it's very difficult as an entrepreneur, especially females, to get financing. So it was difficult at the time for my mortgage, which is a whole separate story. But I ended up going through the process of learning more about the company, and it made sense. And so I basically did what I can. I sought out three separate banks, finally went with one bank that believed in me. I had to show them immediate revenue, but when you're looking at acquiring someone who's larger than you, you're basically not invoicing for a month, but you're paying three times the staff salaries and then perhaps not even getting paid for 3 months out. So cash flow, very difficult. So again, your banks need to be your best friend, but quite a big challenge. I can look back and say best decision ever, but it was absolutely scary. And I just had to kind of push really hard, and let alone merging two teams that have very different cultures. And we wanted to, one, ensure that we kept all of the new clients that we acquired. We made sure that our current clients felt still that we were boutique and still able to take care of them. So a lot of moving parts, young kid, but it worked out for the best.
And if you had to sort of think about that and maybe do a speech on your successful acquisition and financing of it, what do you think the secret of the success was? Was it talking to the three different banks? Was it having a passionate pitch? What was the secret of you actually being able to overcome those obstacles of being a single mom, entrepreneur, female, smaller business, buying bigger business, et cetera, et cetera?
So I think that it's really important to have confidence, and everything that I've done, I didn't grow up with with a great self-esteem, but every time I accomplished something, if I won an award or if I won a large contract, anytime I'm proving to myself that I can do it. And so it's just that drive and energy to continue to push forward. And I have an ambition. I'm not sure where that comes from, but I am extremely ambitious. But at the end of the day, I'm providing our clients with amazing work. They see the value. They love working with us. But our team also, they love what we do. They're very passionate. We're very much a family, and I'm providing a culture that is very difficult in the workplace, to kind of actually be passionate about the people you work with and the work that you do. So it's kind of a win-win in terms of both sides, employee and client.
Well, thinking that your number one key success factor was confidence is kind of interesting, because you probably certainly had to have a lot of that to stand up and do stand-up comedy for the first time in front of a bunch of people in Ottawa. And so we're going to take a break for some messages and come back in just 2 minutes with Shelley True, and we're going to see what it's like, ask her what it's like to be a stand-up comedian at a charitable event. Stay with us, everyone. This is going to be fun. Welcome back, everyone, to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour on Saga 960. I'm chatting tonight with Shelley True, who is a founder of an agency, a marketing agency in Ottawa called True Dots, and its strategic direction is focused on architects, construction companies, developers, etc. It's called True Dot Design, and Shelley's got an interesting story that she describes as being a single mom that's got the challenge of being an entrepreneur, a female. When maybe some people didn't want to lend money to a female single mom entrepreneur. And then she ended up buying a company that was bigger than the company that she had. And she had the challenges of doing that financing. But then what I found really interesting, and one of the main reason why I actually reached out to her, is that she had the guts. She had the confidence to stand up at a charitable event just a couple of weeks ago in Ottawa and be a stand-up comedian. Shelley, what was it like to do that?
Scary. No, I was approached by one of my colleagues, and we do a lot of giving back to the community. It's really important to support our community. I actually was in fear of public speaking many years ago, went through coaching because I needed it to speak at conferences, etc. And so I had someone approach me and say, I know you've been talking about this being on your bucket list to do stand-up, and it's for charity. So I agreed, but she asked me during the process, if you knew the work that was involved, would you have done it? And I said, no, but I will thank you later. So you're paired up with a coach, and so there were 5 Joes. They called them pros and Joes, and you were paired up with a coach that would guide you. But I feel like Todd Van Allen was my coach, and I think that I got the winning coach because he made me to prepare my material, do 3 stand-ups before the actual event, and the event was 300 people at the NAC, National Arts Center. So what was funny is he says your homework is write 10 minutes a day for a week, and just anything that you think is funny, any story. I sent it to him on Sunday. He says, this is amazing material. We just have to add the jokes.
That'd be helpful when you're doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah. So then when we went through the process, and he threw me up in an open mic right away, which then he recorded, found all the laughs and the non-laughs. So we refine the material every time I went to do stand-up. One of them was actually at a local bar where other comedians, and I'm not a professional comedian, amateur, other comedians were there just testing out material. And that was probably the most difficult room because they're absolutely analyzing everyone that goes up. So by the time I nailed my material, it was the Friday before the event, which was on a Tuesday. He says, now memorize, memorize, memorize. And I had to say it out loud 20 times a day for 4 days. And I'll just let you know that my speaking is to a PowerPoint presentation, and none of it is memorized. So, but this was the perfect process. I was nervous, but on stage, no one said I was nervous, and it went really well. I'm very
Excellent.
pleased now, but a big journey, I'd say.
So has this launched a new career for you?
No, I'm not quitting my true passion, which is marketing. But I don't know. We'll see.
So Shelley, why would stand-up comedy be on your bucket list? Why was that?
I really love stand-up. I drove to Pennsylvania last minute with my girlfriend, and we went to see Chelsea Handler. I've been a big advocate, and people tell me I have a great sense of humor, and sitting around with people at the office, I crack a lot of jokes, but it's absolutely different with an audience that doesn't know you. So it's a different way, and I knew, and a lot of people who actually know about stand-up comedy know it's a really, really difficult thing to do, and it was just a challenge that I thought, let's check that off. Next is competitive dragon boat racing.
Oh, really? That's next. Okay. So I'd be interested in understanding what the whole bucket list is. So who was the charity? What was the charitable organization that you were doing this for?
It was the Cancer Foundation. So it was called Laugh for the Cure.
Laugh for the Cure. And how many contestants or stand-up comedians were there?
So there were 5 Joes and 5 pros. Yeah. It was a great event. They also run Fight for the Cure, which has been extremely popular over the last
I've been to that.
Yeah, so it's the same organization, and they've just, instead of fighting, they choose laughter.
Laughter. And how long was your routine?
At the beginning, it was about 9 minutes, and we refined it to 6 minutes. Yeah, 6-minute set.
And how many jokes would you have in 6 minutes?
I had about 4 different pieces, so 4 different kind of topics that led into each other.
And were they, stories about your life or about politics or about what was the segment?
So at the beginning, I talked about what it was like to be a single mom and fear of my daughter dating. I can't go into my jokes; they're a little bit offside. But then it was more about dating through COVID and how I had to recycle and go back to my ex-boyfriend. And then talking about the office and the workplace and how I actually had to let someone go on Halloween. And I had to fire Elvis.
Elvis on Halloween.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was Halloween, obviously. I would not have let someone go. But
was he dressed as Elvis when you let him go?
Yes.
Oh my God, seriously. Now, your ex-boyfriend must have loved being called the recycled dating material.
It's good for the environment, and someone has to keep him off the streets.
Was he in the audience when you made this joke?
Yes. Yeah. It's okay. He's fine. He's got very thick skin.
So is he the current boyfriend as well as the recycled boyfriend as well as the old boyfriend?
We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
That must have taken
Yes.
guts to tell that joke in front of him. So that was one segment about you being a single mom and the fun of that. What was another segment?
Oh, it's really offside. It was about making a bad decision with tattoos. So I did have, but there is video that will be out, and then you could see the whole spiel.
Where's this video going to be? What's the link? Do we know?
So I think it'll be posted on the Cancer Foundation, Laugh for the Cure, and I'm sure True Dot will also be sharing this material.
Okay. And how many of your employees came to watch you make a fool of yourself? I mean, stand up.
I was actually a part of Tech, a leadership group. They all came to support. My entire team came. There was a lot of colleagues that I was very surprised because it is raising money for charity, and the tickets were very expensive. So I really appreciated everyone who came out to support myself, but also the foundation. And
what about your clients? Did some of your clients come? What did they think of this this marketing person with moxie that all of a sudden was doing off-color jokes up on stage?
They were actually, no, I did get a lot of feedback. I had a lot of emails the next day. A lot of clients were extremely impressed. They know how difficult it is. So, you know, I think they were impressed. But again, it was for charity. And I did try out for Fight for the Cure, and I'm happy I did this over that.
Oh, yes. Could you have done it without the pro?
I think that I could have, but I don't think it would have went as well.
So the pro was helpful. Yeah. Now the pro did their own stand-up routine as well.
Yes, they did. They would do their stand-up and then introduce their Joe. Yeah. Yeah.
What a fascinating, fun experience. I wish I had gone and seen your stand-up routine. I look forward to seeing the link. And it's interesting that was one of your bucket list things, particularly for someone that describes himself as originally not having a lot of confidence. That would take a ton of confidence to get up and do that. I remember the first TEDx talk I did, and it was nerve-wracking. And to memorize something that, and you know, that was 18 minutes. So I had time to mumble through, not have to get it down to 6 minutes. But that was really strenuous, trying to memorize everything without PowerPoint, without slides, without cue cards, without anything. And to get it down to an 18-minute time frame is what the TED Talk things do. And that was just a TEDx talk, not a TED Talk. So far less important than the big stage. But that must be nerve-wracking.
Well, that's the point. Your delivery has to be calm and cool and collected. So you can't look nervous at all. And it's all about the delivery. So it's all about the punctuation, and any words that you change will throw off the messaging and how it leads from one bit to the next. So yeah, I commend anyone who could do a TEDx as well. That's really tough. But again, you know, there's a lot of individuals that do this for a living, which is amazing.
I've recently gotten into sort of binge watching this Ted Lasso series. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to catch it at all, but his timing is unbelievable. The use of punctuation and the comments that he comes out. And I find myself constantly stopping and rewinding so that I can actually get the whole joke, because it was so funny, a reference to some pop culture thing that I wasn't sure I got, but it was funny. I had to go back and listen to it again to make sure I got the whole thing.
Yeah, love it.
How do you learn? Pardon?
I said, would you ever do stand-up?
I'd love to try to do stand-up. I'm not sure I'm as funny enough to do that. I'm enjoying being a talk radio host in my part-time nighttime gig, which I really quite enjoyed, because I love meeting interesting people like yourself and asking them questions. And sometimes we'll try to slide in a joke, but stand-up comedy would be a whole different kind of a story. And I'm amazed with people that can do it. I got to tell you, I was I was in a big management meeting in Dallas, Texas, with a whole bunch of different people, and it was a very serious conversation about the potential financial collapse of this company, and I, was a finance guy, and I made the comment, and everyone was really quite worried and concerned about the conversation that we were having. And this one guy, the president of the company, said, "Brian, that's a very astute comment." And a guy next to me said, "Yeah, but in Texas, that's 2 words." He didn't even get it. Oh, shucks. My attempt at stand up with you. So doing a marketing pitch, I get the sense that sometimes marketing pitches would be like stand-up comedy, aren't they? You got to sort of show your passion. You got to show your moxie. You got to show your creativity. Is that where it came from?
I feel there's a fine line between showing but also listening. So we do, I know it looks like I am quite extroverted, but we do a lot of listening. So it is really important to understand from a branding perspective what our clients are trying to achieve and really understanding what their differentiators are. But when you're looking at stand-up comedy, is that good for the True Dot brand? I don't know necessarily. I feel like, that's kind of marketing with Moxie. We're going out doing something that not a lot of people can do, especially since a lot of marketing agencies are run by men, not a lot of single women owned agencies. So it's important to kind of stand up. I was asked because I heard that there were no other women doing the stand up. So I wanted to.
You were the only female?
No, there ended up being 2, which was
good.
amazing. So out of the 5, there was 2 women and 3 men. So it was great. But no, in terms of for marketing, we're very passionate about what we do, and at the end of the day, we want to recommend. We're not the ones sitting and then having our clients tell us what they need. We then provide them with recommendations, and we're the ones driving the bus on their marketing needs.
Your overview that you sent me says that you're known as a natural connector, that you understand the importance of having an authentic voice online and off. What's an authentic voice?
So I do, I'll just give an example. We're big advocates for women in business and also women who are in male-dominated industries. So like architects, engineers, and developers. And we host a women's golf tournament, which is called Foreplay for Charity. And it's raising money for mental health, but it's an Ottawa women's networking tournament, which is trying to support women in learning how to golf if they feel a little timid on the golf course, but also helping them network with each other and build each other up. A lot of women become competitive and they're not standing beside, they're either standing in front or behind. So that's one thing that we do to support our industry and give back to the community. And so that's kind of living that authentic voice, coming up with a cheeky name, Foreplay for Charity. Obviously, this is who we are, and we're trying to build awareness. So create something catchy. So we're actually, through COVID, it's had to be we were on hold. So we're actually going to be launching our Save the Date, which is going to come this August. And so that'll be launched probably late next week.
Awesome. You also said that you are a strong believer in the power and importance of mentorship. Why?
I feel that, obviously we have a legacy to leave. I also have right now my daughter's at Telford School of Business. She's 18. It's important to help lead that next generation, especially those working probably mostly remotely these days. The value of engaging and brainstorming and learning. A lot of individuals that come out of university do have a lot of knowledge, but there's a lot of kind of soft skills that also need to be learned. So it's important to mentor individuals, to help mold them into figuring out what path that they want to take in their career. And it's great to try all aspects. I think that everything that I've done to date in my career has led me to where I am, and how I interact with people, and to really know what I love to do.
The business segment that you've chosen, architects, developers, contractors, that's got to be pretty challenging one to market for.
Well, we don't say no to work. So we also work with accountants, lawyers, doctors, and non-for-profits. We have a lot of different niches. But at the end of the day, it's really about the strategy. That's why we're strategy first marketers. So it's I don't find it challenging. There are challenging aspects, sometimes dealing with succession planning, and how do you name the company moving forward? A lot of architects name their company after their last names or their partners' names. So creating that strategy on maybe succession planning, or we've had to create campaigns for 2 separate non-for-profit organizations and drive traffic, different services. There's been a lot of things that we've had to accomplish, but I love the challenge. I love being strategic, and it's just constantly learning, and I love the success of all of the solutions that we've created.
Fantastic. If people want to check you out, reach out to you, check out your work, is there a website they should go to?
Yes, true.design.com. It's pretty simple.
And dot is spelled out DOT, correct? So it's not.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to thank you for joining the show tonight. I think it was a fascinating conversation. And I really am looking forward to seeing your stand-up routine. I'm going to have to check it out online. I'm disappointed you're not willing to actually recite it again tonight.
I need a full audience with laughter. Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. It was really nice that you reached out.
And congratulations on the guts, the confidence, the abilities to get up on stage in front of hundreds of people and do your stand-up routine, and to accomplish one of your bucket list things to do. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, that's our show for tonight, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I remind you, I'm on every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock on 960 AM. You can stream me online, even from Ottawa, at www.saga960am.ca. And all my podcasts and videocasts are available on briancrombie.com and online on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and Speakeasy and Audible and Apple and SoundCloud for podcasts. Thanks. Good night.